Mikazuki is standing next to Soichiro. Meanwhile, Yuhi is confronted by the Golem. He dread it for a minute, but then uses Hangetsu's martial arts to easily throw the Golem, causing him annoyed to discover something. The four-eyed Golem from yesterday reappears moments later and devour the three-eyed, uniting them into a seven-eyed Golem. Sumidare arrives and strikes it, sending it flying. Sumidare asks Yuhi whether he's okay, and he confirms that Hangetsu has saved him yet again. Noi reveals that before Hangetsu died, they knew what he wanted for his night pact. It was to teach Yuhi his abilities. Yuhi then begins to mourn over his deceased friend. Yaya later contacts Yuhi to thank him. She asks if he is available tonight, and Yuhi confirms. Yaya cries again, and Mikazuki picks up the phone, declaring that she is now his, and that if he wants her back, he should meet him at a certain location. Yuhi rushes to the scene, but is met by Mikazuki, who has a hand impression on his face and explains that Yaya left to buy some tea. Moon then appears and tells Yuhi and Mikazuki to fight because Mikazuki is his brother and Hangetsu may not have handed on his powers just for Yuhi's sake. Yuhi accepts and, at first, does well in the fight, but Mikazuki quickly outplays him. Mikazuki believes Yuhi's mind, body, and skills are out of sync and wonders whether he was attempting to be Hangetsu. Mikazuki is about to depart when he finds something and calls everyone. The group then sees the Golem that Sumidare sent flying the day before. The Golem suddenly moves, and a figure emerges from its mouth. The guy then praises the Golem Hekatomayan, remarking that it must be tired of acting as a gate, and sends it away to rest. The man then congratulates Yuhi's party and informs them that he will give them time to rest as well. The earlier bouts were easy for them, but the next ones will be considerably more difficult. The man then goes away, floating, and Noit reveals himself to be the Mage, Animus. Sumidare wakes Yuhi awake the next day because it is already midday. Soichiro explains that he wants to introduce another ally, the Black Cat Knight, Shimaki Hayu, and Ku Ritter. A black cat comes, introducing herself as Ku, and an overweight man introduces himself as Hayu. Yaya pays Yuhi a visit that evening, apologizing for the previous day and offering to cook dinner for him. Yaya adds that she will be making supper and invites Sumidare to join them. Upon hearing that it is about food, Sumidare immediately accepts. Mikazuki appears after they finish their meal, claiming to have discovered 2 additional knights. Tsukishiro Yukimachi and Ron Yue as the Turtle Knight, and Hoshikawa Subaru and Lee Soleil as the Rooster Knight, are introduced by 2 schoolgirls. Yukimachi explains that another knight, their master, vanquished it but died protecting them. Yaya inquires as to what knight he was, and they inform him that he was the Fish and the Sword Knight, the Swordfish Knight. Yuhi informs Sumidare that all 12 Beast Knights have been located and requests that everyone gather. The last knights approach Soichiro and announce themselves. Kusakabe Taro and Lance Lumiere, the Mouse Knight, and Serrano Hanako and Killzan, the Mantis Knight. When Yukimachi and Subaru come upon another child, he announces himself as the Owl Knight, Akane Taiyo, and Loki Helios. Sumidare says, she will still love him and the planet, even if Yuhi eventually opposes her and tries to stop her. Sumidare then appears in front of everyone and delivers them a speech encouraging them to fight to keep themselves and their friends alive. Moon was on Yaya's bed when she woke up, and Yaya calmly got out of bed, grabbed a stick, and smacked and caught her. Moon apologized and said she wasn't going to bite her. Yaya immediately agrees as Moon goes on to explain that she needs Yaya's might to combat the evil wizard Animus who wants to end the world. Moon continues by outlining everything else and letting the girl know that she can fulfill one dream. As Yaya knows she may pass away at any time, she makes her wish now. When the time comes, she wants her parents, siblings, and other family members to pass away joyfully. After Yuhi and Sumidare have finished their morning workout, Soichiro meets them at the park and extends an invitation to dine. When Sumidare inquires as to how he met his wife, Soichiro responds that it was prior to his being a detective. Soichiro responds that he recently resigned when Yuhi inquires as to his reasons. When co-worker Himawari wakes up Soichiro who was sleeping in at work, Dance Dark is there to tell him not to yell and that only he can see him. Dark instructs him to conduct himself normally and says that the planet is in peril. Working on a case involving a serial killer, Soichiro and Himawari have leads as to where the perpetrator is currently. They nonetheless travel to the specified site, which is in a quiet neighborhood, while thinking it may be a bogus lead. Soichiro suggests that they separate and conduct a search while reminding Himawari that they are law enforcers rather than heroes of justice. Soichiro hears a shout while looking about and runs to where a youngster and Himawari are being cut by a guy. The man tries to flee, but Soichiro slams him to the ground. They see the criminal with their chief while at work. The culprit claims he was unable to kill the kid because the wife blocked his path outside. Assuming that the criminal is the chief's son and that this is how he knew where he would be, Soichiro joins them. The chief reveals that he sent Soichiro and Himawari after his son since he wasn't listening to him. The chief says he won't worry about it, But when he threatens to drop the case, Soichiro ends up assaulting the chief as well. Dark claims that Soichiro may truly be a hero of justice when the world is destroyed and destroyed. Soichiro has his reservations since if their lives are in danger, they would resort to whatever means to stay alive and won't be acting in the interests of justice. Nevertheless, he accepts and joins Dark. He remembered all of his dissatisfaction with the Force, so he quit. In Hayu's dream, Animus approaches him and asks if he'd want to travel with him. In order to become an all-knowing entity, Animus surmises that Hayu's ultimate goal was to acquire the Akashic records and study all there is to know about the cosmos. Hayu doesn't dispute it, saying Ku warned him against doing so should he reach the Mage's level or even higher. According to Animus, he has the same ambition and ought to join him. When Tsukishiro and Hoshikawa arrive, he makes the decision to depart as they are ready to confront Animus and informs Hayu that he will respond later. Ku speculates in the evening that Animus will ask Hayu in his nightmares if he intends to join him. Hayu encounters Animus in his dream, who reveals that he is from the future. He is an advanced wave that came from the future and is returning to the location where everything converges while compressing space-time. According to Animus, he is a deity of wrath born to balance the god who created this cosmos. Hayu questions why, and Animus responds that all knights are not like other people and have the potential to become his equals. Hayu assumes he can utilize his ring after taking a look at it. After failing to grant his first wish, then Hayu makes a one-eyed golem using creation field, Kai Bell. Animus is delighted since no knight has ever considered building a golem. Hayu uses the golem to attack, but when the owl knight Akane Taiyo appears, she slays the golem. Taiyo and his knight are introduced by Animus as the owl knight. They both seem out of the ordinary to Taiyo, who believes they are both monsters. Taiyo is questioned by Hayu about what is happening, but Animus chooses to call it a night. Hayu ponders why he shouldn't turn into a monster that fights for justice and slays God after remembering that he was dubbed a monster. Subscribe to the channel to know what happened next.